Hey everybody, and welcome to Slurve. I am Steve Repsold, and this is the first edition of a new show that I'm working on called The Dong Finder. I've been creating a model of the same name for the past, this whole MLB season really. Been working it up, and obviously the goal there is to try and find players most likely to hit home runs. And it's been quite successful so far. Weighs a whole bunch of factors, some of the biggest being things like batted ball differences, hard hit percentages, the player's ISO, but also a ton of other things. And then I've played with the weights of those for a long time and compared it to actual results as far as home runs and so on and so forth. And it's been pretty good. So I want to share some of that knowledge with all of you. Keep in mind that completely opposite of my other show with Cash Game Cornerstones. These are guys that are probably riskier. We're looking for the big upside here. And I'm only going to give you not the top rated play necessarily, but the guy that I feel most confident in. Sometimes there's a slight difference in that, but for the most part, they are the top options at their positions. And we'll start off with the top overall option as far as Dong upside goes, and that's Brandon Crawford at shortstop versus Zach Greinke. I doubt a lot of people are going to be on him because of that matchup with Greinke. Arizona is definitely a launching pad. Crawford has been smacking the shit out of the ball. 3.7 on DK, 2.8 on FanDuel. I like him. Going on down to catcher, let's talk about catcher. This guy hit a dong yesterday. You may not have seen it coming off of Syndergaard's, Yasmani Grandal, but he was one of the top-rated players in Dong Finder yesterday, and I was able to get him in a couple lineups and catch that home run, along with Corey Seager. He gets Bartolo Colon today, much easier opponent. He's still pretty cheap, 3.1 on DK, 2.9 on FanDuel. First base, I actually really like a kind of a punt value play here, and that's Ryan Howard going against Blair. Howard is a guy who can hit with a lot of power, and this is a right-handed pitcher who doesn't strike out a lot of people. Puts him in a good situation. He's 3.4 on DK, 2.1 on FanDuel, just an absolute giveaway there, and he is an 83 rating in this. I don't know if I mentioned it. Grandal's an 86. So, did I even say if Crawford? Crawford is an 88. Start there. Grandal's an 86, and Howard is an 83. All very strong. For reference, last night, 36 players rated over 75, and of those 36, 9 of them hit home runs. So I feel pretty good about it. At second base, there's nobody. I thought about digging up a recommendation, but the guys were in the mid-70s and dip into high 60s. I don't like second base as far as a home run finding position, at least via these quantifiers. Sometimes this will miss guys who just hit home runs all the time. It's more likely to hit guys who don't always hit home runs, but are in the midst of a hard-hitting streak, or guys who are slumping and coming back to it, than it is to hit the guys, the Bryce Harper who every day is smacking the shit out of the ball, whereas some other guys. Plus, is it really any big feat to say, oh, Bryce Harper has a good chance of hitting a home run today? Not really. So on that note, skipping over second base, I threw in an extra outfielder for you later. We'll come back to that. Nick Castellanos. I probably shouldn't even have to say that Manny Machado is a great option at this position, and he is in the Dong Finder as well. He's been hitting the ball really hard. And another thing that I'm starting to think is pretty important, he's been hitting a lot of line drives. Line drive percentage is pretty random throughout a player's career, but a lot of line drives lead to home runs. Interesting article I read on Fangraphs a while back. So anyway, he's a great option there, but that's taking the easy way out. Rated a little bit lower. He's like an 80. Nick Castellanos is a 78. He's been hitting a lot of home runs, but I'm not sure people have noticed. He's got 5 in his last, 15, 20 games, something like that. Ubaldo, I hear people on Jimenez today. I'm not really a fan in this matchup. Not the worst that he could do, but not the best either. Castellanos is kind of pricey, especially on DK, which might be good for your tournament lineups. 4.5, and he's only 3.0 on FanDuel, but I think he's going to go overlooked with Machado anyway. Speaking of that, and speaking of outfielders, Adam Jones, he hit a home run yesterday as well, or Yeah, I think he did. Either that or a really big game. He's been hitting the ball really hard too. He's been coming out of that slump. He's still like stupid underpriced on FanDuel at 2.6. He's 4.4 on DK, so maybe that'll keep some people off him. You know, he rates very highly. The second overall outfielder in the model. I like him going against Mike Pelfrey, bad pitcher. But the top overall outfielder in the model and number 2 in rating overall is Jeremy Hazelbaker, the Hazel Raker. I know my St. Louis crew is happy to hear that. It's probably some cheering going on in the Slurve offices. He goes against Jared Weaver, which is just another plus for hitting home runs. 3.9 on DK, 3.0 on FanDuel. Hazelbaker, he's been really good at hitting home runs this year. I think he still has the most on the Cardinals. So actually, and last I looked, the lineup hadn't been released. So for some reason, he's not in the lineup. I hate that manager so much, but I really like Hazelbaker today, and I'm not normally a Hazelbaker fan. And then another outfielder that I like, who I mentioned a couple days ago in the Slurve chat, is Jock Peterson. He gets Cologne too, 3.8 on DK, 2.7 on FanDuel. Kind of expensive on DK, but again, you know, if we're trying to keep people off, that's not a bad thing at all. I could see him absolutely repeating. He's an 83 rating today. And one that was kind of sneaky that I wouldn't have really thought of at first, it's Melvin Upton against Jimmy Nelson. He has an 82 rating, 3.4 on DK, 2.7 on FanDuel. I expect him to be really low owned today. And looking deeper into the advanced numbers, I like what I see there. And he's had a couple hot streaks where he's been hitting lots of home runs throughout the season. So I think he might be my favorite little sneaky pick of the day. Probably, well, I don't know if he's even one of the less likely ones. I like his chances today. So book it as me calling Melvin Upton home run today. And the rest of them I find very likely. I hope this has helped your chances out, or at least you found it interesting. Come on by the Slurve chat and let me know. Slurve.com. It's free to sign up. I will be hanging around there on and off until lock. I'll be answering any questions you have about the Dong Finder model, or if you have specific questions about, hey, how's a player rate, or, you know, who's the top 3 at this position, whatever. Come on by and ask, and I will be happy to share my knowledge with you. Thanks. My name is Steve Repsold, and this is Slurve Daily Dong Finder, the first edition.